Hi everyone. I came up with an idea and I had to re-record because I had the YouTube music on and YouTube will flag my videos if I am listening to music and recording at the same time. So for that reason and that reason alone, here I am again. Anyways, I came up with an idea, and with today's technology we are able to do this because back in the day it would require a team or someone to do this manually. But since we have uh, machines and things that can aid and help us, we are able to do this idea. So it's basically a generator to generate electricity. And this is on a small scale, but it can be done on a very, very large scale. So here, um, I will say, mm, let's just say a 5 gallon bucket, 5 gallon buckets from like Lowe's or Home Depot, right? So I created something like this already, but this here is kind of different since it's not a sequence of um, generators, although it is, but not in the same format as I explained in another video. So here we have obviously some stairs. Each stair will contain a bucket, and this setup will be, well, this will actually need to be bigger, like that. So each one, oh yeah, and not going over the step. And it needs to go a little bit over the step, each one. And these are, it's like a pattern. It's just a perpetual pattern for practically for perpetual energy. So what we have here is this one will get filled up with water, with a something that pulls water from here up here. So what people normally do is they have the water channeled above, and then they allow it to go downstream like a river or creek or whatever. But this here is basically it will have the energy in one bucket, 5 gallon bucket. Then the sensors will not allow the water to flow downwards until each 5 gallon bucket is filled up. So this one will release it, fill this one, and as it's filling this one, it's generating electricity like a dam. So once this one gets filled, then it'll be on a timer or something, a sensor. Then it'll release this water to go into the next bucket. This one will get filled, and that pattern will repeat itself. And the reason why it gets filled up is because that's what's going to create the pressure that is required to move and rotate the generator. Now, when this water is pumped up here, it only requires a certain amount of energy to do so. And as it's falling in these 5-gallon buckets in this case, but it can be scaled down or up, right? It's basically producing more energy for each level. And that can be, very, very, it could be something small or it could be huge, like 1,000-gallon tanks on a fucking hilltop going down the hilltop. So it works just the same. So it will be like a turbine. The water will come and it'll make the water will come down each 5-gallon bucket in this case, and it'll rotate the thing. Or it could be like a fucking one of those things that you see like in the creeks that collect the water. Seeing it's just a pattern. So the water will flow this way in this case, and it will force this to go this way. So this will be turning this way, right? So I don't know how this will actually look like, but you guys get the idea, right? This will pump up the water up here. It will get filled up. And then here it will have like a valve or something. Release that water. This one will be shut off. It will get filled up. Once it gets filled up, that same process will repeat itself over and over and over and over and over again. And by the time it reaches down here, maybe the water pump can have this already filled up. So I don't know if by pumping the water from the bottom upwards would require the same or more energy, or if it will indeed produce energy. And if it does, then this can be an effective method or approach to generate electricity for homes and cities and shit like that. And like I said, this is on a small scale. This is something that anyone can rig up at home, and make at home or whatever. And maybe produce energy for their own family household. And for a more commercial type of setup, then, big fucking silos can be used. Because I was studying that shit today, like tanks. So it has to be a big ass container. So, or even like a pool, like a ladder, a fucking like a dam. You know, this water, like a waterfall, this one will come here, it'll get filled up, and then it'll open up the next one. This one will get filled up, it'll open it up and release that water. You know, so basically what is required to, it's all mathematical, so if we can get the math right, then it could work. So once the water, if it requires a certain amount of energy, which it will, to bring and pump the water above, and then once it's above, then, you know, so many stages of these sequences would have to be produced to produce more energy. And my idea here was and is to allow the water to raise up all the way to the top so it could have that force, that RPM, you know, that fucking, like the energy. So it's just like this. It's like stacking little bottles up of water. If this is filled up and one little hole, like a needle-sized hole, was created here, then it will fucking forcefully go down and fill this one up. And if it has the, you know, the valve opener and closer that can be programmed, then this step here can be fucking stories high or whatever the fuck. So yeah, I just thought it was a great idea. I think it will work. You know, as the water is not just traveling at one rate or one speed, you know, the pressure is going to create the turbine to spin rapidly, therefore producing a lot of electricity. And of course, it's not like a river or dam. It's not probably equivalent to what that will produce, but I guess it all depends on the scaling, the size of, you know, jars and containers that are used. Like my friend, he bought a long time ago a 1,000-gallon water tank because his property doesn't have city water, it has a well. So he has to pump his own water out with the machine, of course, the pump and electricity. And it's stored in the 1,000-gallon tank. And it's not that big. It's probably the size of a car, you know. So if something like that was set up like on a hill, you know, maybe an engineer or designer or someone that knows what the fuck they're doing, they can technically do this and have this running all day long, as this is, it has it will have it has a brain of itself, you know. So it's not like, see, before someone would have to be there, open the valve up, allow the water to go out, close it, go to the next one, open it, allow the water to come out, close it, go to the next one, open it, allow the water to come out, close it. See, it's perpetual. It's repetitive. Yeah, it's repetitive, not perpetual. So, and whatever one produces, that means that all the others will produce most likely the same amount of voltage or whatever in the battery for generating as it generates the electricity. So I don't know if this is better than solar panels. It would have to be tested. Mythbusters. Anyways, God bless everyone. If you happen to try this at home, or if you come up with your own design or whatever, or if you can conclude within yourself, or you could do the math and you come up with a solution that works, then I would like to really hear about it. I would actually be excited to hear about it and to even see the prototype or a working model of this. Because nothing's impossible and the sky's the limit. So this can even be done on, I mean, if you were to grab these and align them vertically, whatever, this way, it could be done on buildings, towers. And this water, the top one, can send it to the story below it, all the way to the bottom. And the water could go back up and repeat that same process just like it is here. So, I mean, there's different ways to make this work, and stuff like that. I don't really know, but I just felt like sharing this with everyone out there. And, since everyone's big on producing electricity, clean energy, like I seen waste management driving around today as I was at my class in the local 185 here in Redding, Shasta County. And instead of it saying, think clean, think green, it said think clean, think pink for cancer awareness. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, it's all about providing each other with something that works. And I mean, nothing's impossible. So I would like to maybe even get a lot of people involved where they're coming up with their own ideas, their own methods of doing this stage, of generating electricity and shit like that. But I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity unless, first of all, if this has to be proven that it works, then people would have to get involved. Then that's when I'll be able to interview or pick people's brains for information, and look at their prototypes. So we would be able to create a more, basically perfecting it and making it better and better and better. and shit like that. Because there's no reason for anyone to go to sleep cold at night. There's no reason for anyone to go to sleep without any AC if it's super hot, you know. And if this works, then, and if there's a lot more energy to go around, then it can be given freely to our pets and shit like that. Growing plants, as people are growing plants and shit, you know, for food in greenhouses, and it requires energy. It requires light, artificial light, and all that. It could be used to, you know, give a heat pad to your pet, so when it goes to sleep, it will be warm. Like dog houses, instead of them being out there in the corner of fucking, or somewhere lost in the fucking woods of the backyard, it could be actually be connected to the fucking house, so it can provide energy, so it can keep your pet warm at night. But some people don't regard the life of their stocks, or whatever the fuck the Bible calls it, their livestock, you know. So even horses and cows and sheep and all that, they get cold too. So, and people everywhere. So, you know, if there's people living outside, then, you know, this energy can be given to them, so they won't be cold. And the extra energy can be used to clean out sewages and sewers, as it distills water, you know, and gets all that water, excess water out, so it could dry up the poop and all that, so it could be exposed of somewhere, wherever they throw it or put it or place it, whatever, or just burn it, right? I don't know if they just burn it. I don't even know. But I don't know, whatever people do with energy. And in today's time and age, November 2020, there is a high demand for this, for energy, because a lot more people are watching television. A lot more people have, you know, LEDs, lights. They have fucking other devices, computers that they need, and electrical vehicles. All that plays a factor. So, yep, give it up to the step generator, multi-level generator.